Yeah, guys, I just want to show you what I have learned in this trading thing. Shout out to Esther Makaripe.
It's done. All right, so this is going to be an interesting week, right? That's NFP week right there, and then obviously on Friday we're going to be going crazy. Don't trade news, right? Unless you're ready to blow your account. You wait for the news events to happen, then you see the direction of the market, then you can go in. But now let's go over onto a chart. Let's see what the market is saying for us for this week. So this is our US 30 chart. Should we start on US 30, or let me start on something that's more interesting, which is gold right now, because I can totally see that gold has given us new highs, and you can see that the market has gone to retest these levels, right? And this is really unusual for gold because
Okay, wait. I want to show you something. I want to show you something. If ne elena level gold so ne gold like first thing ne give me bona this high ne yes this high perfect, and then for if it was me ne get your trend line from here to here. You see it broke, so obvious ne ke tlo emela or e weka more with this support ne from here ne ke emela manipulation like candle weaknyana so, and then that's an buy and then wait for it. So this is my analysis. Erike bone Esther yena or yena how we better one. Like I love this girl, man.
normally when gold is coming to these all-time highs, it's breaking through all of them and just pushing up to the top. It's not having that moment of a drop like a retracement. We have a series of 3-hour candles that just pushed this market down. Right now I've learned my lesson. I'm not really looking for support areas on these new highs that the market has just formed after pushing up to the top like with crazy momentum, right? Because that is only for scalpers that are doing their thing on a lower time frame and they're just going in and out. If you're going to be holding the trade for like 1, 2, 3 days, then this type of support area is not really as strong. And Nasdaq and US 30, they really proved that to us. They've been disrespecting every single support area that we were having. You can see that the first support area that would probably have looked at on the Nasdaq was here, because these were highs, broke out of it, disrespected. They gave us a false little push here and then just disrespected them again, and then it came back to the support area, gave us a false little push, disrespected them again. Now if you want to see where the sellers or the buyers are actually dominating in a certain market, right, you look at the type of candles that the market forms. If you notice here, when these buyers were in control, we would have small selling candles and then a big push, right? We had a big push and then the selling candles would be small. Now notice when the sellers stepped in, we have tiny little bullish candles, and then the push that the sellers give would just be like, with right, and then they push with little tiny candles and the sellers just step in with great momentum, great force. Then right now at this area, just by looking at this, we already see that there's something like a difference, right? We see that it's almost equal, the buys and the sells on this chart. But anyway, this is not what we were analyzing right now. I was just respecting, in fact, almost all the support areas that we had.
Again, guys, if it was me, this one another thread line like, and then according to price action they said if it breaks the trend line it must have a retest. So not one retest, retest on that trend line. This is my trend line, this is my trend line already. One hour retest according to me, yes, in the zero buy, and then I target this take profit, which is here Leon take profit. But according to, they said we have a 90% rule. I was going to hold this trade until it comes here, because gold we only takes buys only on gold if it was me. let's continue with the video.
See this is our second support area. It came back to the top. It gave us a false breakout. This was where our US30 trade was. It hit our stop loss at 46,220, somewhere here. Yeah, somewhere around about this place. So this is where our stop loss was, and you can see this selling momentum candle is what took us up. But then right now I can see a good sign of bullish momentum there, right? So back onto the chart that we're actually talking about. I hope you have your notebook and your pen out, because that is something that you should actually jot down. Always look out for those things, right? So let us go and do our top down analysis and all of that on gold. We'll start obviously on, just look at this movement on the weekly time frame. This is absolutely crazy. This market has been pushing up with absolutely no.
And guys, even here, like, yes, it was consolidation movement here, called it a consolidate. Now it's pushing so badly, like, guys, because now I'm still learning these things, guys. So Emela retest and take my trade from here, put my stop loss here for any manipulation. Like, I know something will happen from here, and then it goes up. If Ellen, like, Esther, show me how to do this.
No retracement whatsoever. Well, that's on the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, we do have really interesting zones, right, where we saw a little rejection. This was the area here. This is where we saw a little rejection before the market just reversed and pushed up to the top. So that is what we'd want to consider as our support area on this particular gold chart for this week, right? So I would mark up the zone and make it a support area. So this is a support area, and obviously the highs that it has right now, we just mark them up. That is our resistance area. We already have a resistance and our support area. Now I would want to look to attempt to buy gold at that zone. Why? Because I think that is a more solid support area, right? And if that zone doesn't hold, then definitely we're going to go over to the all-time highs that it broke out of on the 2nd of September throughout to gold has been shooting up for the last 24 days, right? That's where I would probably look for it right now. Let's go over on to a lower time frame. I like to be guided, with a trend line. I like to see confluence of a trend line and support. Yes. Now this is something that we can have, right? And then we would refine our entries. This is what you do on the lower time frames. On the lower time frames, you want to use those to refine your entries, right? Now I've dropped a little bit. Now if you notice, we're going to have this area here where gold broke out of. Let me just mark that up. We're going to have this area here. It was once a resistance area. We broke out of it. It's going to come back and be retested as a support. Now, if you notice, this trend line is it's going to be broken out of. I am not interested in buying gold if it comes back to the support.
Yeah. Like, if for me, wanna double top here, and then wanna let trend line in. So according to me, like, it touch a trend line. Once it touches this trend line, then it level this zone. I know called it to manipulate this move trend line until it touches this zone. So none of it a trade from one catch a buy. And that's why I pay into, because of I'm not aware of these ones. I'm not aware of this main one. Always it takes me out from this first zone. It means I have to wait. I have to wait and see what's gonna happen. Thank you, my girl.
Area, because my higher time frame support is going to be in this zone. So I'm going to wait for it to drop a little bit further, then I'll probably look for an attempt to buy gold in this area. Dropping over onto the lower time frames, that's nothing of paramount importance there, because it's going to be price action that we're going to be looking at, and this is my area that I'm going to attempt to trade gold. Let's go over onto the Nasdaq just right away, and then I'm going to show you guys the trade that I had and I was looking forward to for this week. It was actually very simple. I think a lot of you guys can already see it right now by just looking at this chart, right? Yes, of course, it was a breakout of this trend line that we had right over here. right? So I was looking at the market as it broke out. So I saw the movement when it was somewhere in the zone, right? And then I already had these 2 points, and then this was a little push. Now I was already expecting that this market is going to come out and break out at this particular area. And yes, of course, the sellers just dropped. Why did I think that? You can clearly see that this is a support area right here. This is a support area. First of all, we have a series of
As for me, like in or after this candle it's all like it's buy sometime buy full margin. So I know Ellen, again something is going to happen. It's gonna stop me out, but I followed every rule. Like you wanna like this is strong support. This one. I mean, if it breaks the trend line, it means we're going up, but something is gonna happen here.
lows that are equal at this area. We have a candle that is wicked up, showing us that there's a lot of buying pressure that just stepped in at this point. We also have the market coming back to the zone and giving us a similar candle right here, showing that the buyers had stepped into the market. So obviously this for me was already confirmation, a lot of confluence that the market was going to go and break out of this area. But then
even like after seeing this candle, I was going to take my buys and hold, but look what happened. So I have to be patient, even though I want this, or I mustn't be afraid to lose a trade. Just be a stop loss. Like if it hits my stop loss, it's fine. Like I have this knowledge from Nasdaq Ninja. Shout out to Nasdaq Ninja. So let me see, because Esther is going to explain what happened to this thing where camouflage is.
sellers just did their thing, broke out of this zone. But I'm so happy that I wasn't in the trade, right? I was going to wait for it to actually break out first, then I buy. Now we come to the time where it broke out, right? It broke out of the zone at this area. I was expecting a retracement around about this zone here, and then a good place to put stop loss. But when I saw this type of bearish candle, I just knew or thought that it's probably similar to something that was happening and it wanted to drop again, right? So right now you can see that the candles have changed. The candles have changed. They're kind of like bigger on
I'm back. So
Nasdaq, showing us that the buyers may just be wanting to step into the market, right? I'm going to mark this as a support area right at this level, because this is where the market got rejected, and obviously this is going to be a zone, right? So we do have our 2 support areas on the Nasdaq. We're going to mark up which is going to be our resistance, right? So what we're saying that we would want Nasdaq to come back into these areas, then we can look for a trade, because we always want to have trades that have good risk to reward ratio, right? If I buy right now, I can't really put my stop loss here or here, because it's a zone that the market might just drop back into, right? So we go on to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, just looking as nice, we're going to pull out our trend.
Like I've paused this video because of Linda. I see this trend line from here. I see this trend line. You understand? And it broke the trend line here, which means it's a buy. It's a buy from me. And I see a support here. You wanna support more? It means it's a buy, and this week, according to me, it's a buy. According to me.
line again that we had, and you can see that it's a broken trend line that was retested. Now I want to see where the market is going to go. The next resistance level is going to be right at that spot. Then obviously we have just refined our entry. Let's drop over onto another lower time frame, and then we'll see what that says. Now we're just expecting the market to break out again of this level and show us that the buyers have indeed stepped into this market. Then we're just going to wait for it to come back a little bit to retest, right? We're going to break out, we're going to have a retest, and after that we're going to buy it and ride it up to the top. That's going to be my first attempt on the Nasdaq. Now if that doesn't stand, then obviously we're going to go back onto the daily time frame, reanalyze, and use second support area that I spoke about on the daily time frame. That's it and done. Let us go on to US30. US30 looking just as good as the Nasdaq. I won't waste time on US30 because it's already.
Yeah, guys, like I think from here, okay, I understand. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, guys. Help me reach 500 subscribers, guys. Like I'm trying to show you we can learn this thing on YouTube.